guys, so as you can tell by what I'm wearing is what we're going to be focusing on. So today we're going to be dealing with the pelvis. So welcome to Basics with the pelvis. So basic pelvic alignment can be tricky. So there's, yes, the bony structural alignment, which we'll get to, but then there's also a bunch of things around that. So there's engaging pelvic floor. Lots of times Kegels are done incorrectly. So we're going to go over the female and the male Kegel, just as important for guys, okay? So, but again, a lot of times, we don't want to say the body parts, but you know what, we have them. So we need to talk about them because this is how we stabilize the pelvis. This is how we prevent low back injuries. And for our guys, doing your proper Kegel exercises actually massages your prostate. So it helps you in the fight against prostate cancer. So having that ability to massage your insides is fantastic. So these exercises aren't just to get you going with Pilates, these are lifelong exercises. Women, we need them, right? We need them pre-childbirth so we know how to push, and we need them post-childbirth to get everything back into shape again. As well as, for my ladies, because usually of everything that happens inside, everything for us is inside, right? So there's a ton more organs in there. So we need to make sure that we actually know how to properly do pelvic floor exercises. There's a difference between a Kegel and a pelvic floor exercise. We need to make sure that we do them properly so that we also strengthen the muscles around the bladder to keep it lifted so it doesn't prolapse. Bladder, uterus, and also the rectum. So everything can fall forward, guys too, but more common in women, but also to stop with those leaks that happen later on in life. Okay, so these exercises are so important. This is going to be a multi-part video probably on just aligning the skeleton, accessing the muscles properly, and then how to access them to engage your core properly. So there's a lot of information in this video, okay? So bear with me because then all of this also goes hand in hand with the breathing, which is the first one, and other ones I haven't done yet, which is ribs, shoulder blades, neck, okay? So we slowly start to align the bone structure using the proper muscles, okay? Sound good? So let's go. So you need to make sure that your head is properly aligned. I discussed this in the breathing one. Hopefully you guys watched the breathing one. Okay? So when you lay on your back, okay, and I'll show you, I think you guys will get a good view. My chin is slightly higher than my forehead. Well, I say slightly, it might be more, I don't know. And my shoulders, I know, come forward. It's not comfortable, but as soon as I pull my shoulders back, look what happens to my ribs. And I can also feel my neck, my upper neck jamming. So, if my ribs are popping, my low back is compromised, okay? So, we're gonna put my pillow. So you get a pillow, and you try to get this even, and that's not all there is. You want to make sure that you're high enough, right? So if you feel strain in your neck, get a higher pillow because you want to make sure you're high enough that you can open up the shoulders so your ribs, your neck, and your shoulders all relax together. Why this alignment is important is because if this is off, while we're trying to work this, we're going to actually be working up here, okay? So the hip bones are connected to the neck. Okay, everything is connected. So we need to make sure that everything is sort of hyper-aligned more, okay? Now I really hope that you guys can see my pelvis in this. I've tried to set it up as best as I can. So I want you to find your hip bones, okay? They're called your ASIS. You don't need to really know anything more than that. Say your hip bones, okay? And now I want you to find your pubic bone, okay? So pubic bone, hip bones, it's okay. They're your bones. I can come and show you where they are, but yeah, you find them, okay? Hip bones, pubic bone. Now, first of all, you want to see from hip bone to hip bone if you're level. So, I'm not sure if you can pick this up in the video. When I relax, I know that I'm rotated in my pelvis. So I work a lot at trying to get it to change over. And it's because, honestly, I just woke up, so my body is definitely in the alignment it likes to be in, not the alignment I like for it to be in. So that's okay. We'll approach all that stuff in different videos, but you want to try to get them as even as you can. So you might already start to feel your core kicking in as you try to lift one hip up a little bit. So just look. You can look up and look, or else you can put something under your head if that helps, right? You can always look up higher, right? Just make sure that you don't have it in your neck. Have it under the skull, okay? So you found your hip bones. Now find your pubic bone. Now, if your pubic bone is higher than your hip bones, okay, you're actually already sort of an imprint. So what we call imprint, it's flexion in the lumbar spine. So what we want is we want to try to get the pubic bone and the hip bones to be level. Same with if your hip bones are higher than your pubic bone, you're actually in a lot of extension in your low back. This is more common in women. However, it is not for everybody. So you guys really, this is where sometimes having somebody like me get a properly trained Pilates professional, and they will be able to really help you and see what's happening with the pelvis from side to side and from pubic bone to ASIS, to your hip bones. Okay? We do a lot of training to get where we are, so just make sure that you find somebody who is properly trained. Okay? So just because they say they teach Pilates, they could have done a weekend course. Okay? So just do your homework. So what you're going to do, okay, is once you have them neutral. So first we're just going to talk about the skeleton alignment, okay? Then we have to get into the muscles. Because in order to figure out how to do everything properly, we need to make sure that our pelvis is actually in a nice neutral position. So pubic bone and hip bones are neutral when they're in line, okay? So when you can push and they make a nice flat line, right? So if I tip, that's imprint, okay? But that's not all there is to it, okay? There's a whole core alignment that we haven't gotten into yet. We're going to come back to this once we've done engaging our muscles. So this is imprint, this is neutral. Imprint, neutral. Or extension, okay? So this is an extended pelvis because now my pubic bone is lower. Neutral and flexion, okay? So I want you to find a nice neutral pelvis, okay? And if you need your head up higher, go ahead. So also, you may get a ball or something and put it between your knees if you have a hard time doing this, okay? Especially if your knees want to keep falling open, move your feet out a little wider and let the knees fall together, because it's just going to take your legs out of it, because we do need your knees to be bent. You can also have your feet up on something if you want. That will help too. This will actually help you not use your glutes, okay? So what we're going to do is we're first going to learn about our pelvic floor, right? So ladies, we have 3 openings, okay? Males, you have 2, okay? So women, we have the anus, the vagina, and the urethra, okay? So when you engage pelvic floor, you don't want to just use the anus, and you don't just want to use the urethra. You actually just want to use the vaginal muscles. If you over-engage, and this is for guys too, if you over-engage your rectum and your anus, you're going to give yourself SI dysfunction. It just happens more in women because we tend, not the generalization, but women tend to have more open pelvises. Have lots of clients, women who don't have very open pelvises. I have lots of males that have very open pelvises. So again, generalization, but just usually because of the shape of women's pelvises, we are a little bit different than guys. We do tend to have a little bit more availability. So if you over-engage the anus, okay, and you squeeze and you pull up, you're actually you can cause SI issues. So you need to relax that. But you also need to make sure that they're strong, okay? So we're going to be working on the anus, the vagina, and the urethra all at the same time. Now, my guys, you have the anus and you have the urethra, okay? So your engagements are slightly different. So your pelvic floor, you want to happen more from the urethra, from the penis, okay? So, and the testicles are involved in that as well, actually. The testicles are actually huge in that. So, so first let me talk my ladies into it, because they have a lot more to work on, because we have an extra opening. Males, I'll get you guys going, and it might be harder for you guys too, because I don't know if you guys ever even knew that you guys had to do Kegels. Who knows, right? So I want you to lay down, and I want you to close your eyes and make sure that your legs are comfortable. Make sure your bodies are comfortable, okay? So you can be on a softer surface, but I don't want you like on something super crazy soft. So if you're on a really old couch and it's like moving around on you, you do need to be on something that's supportive but comfortable, okay? So I want you just to relax. Everybody relax. Okay, good. Now, ladies, actually maybe I'll talk to you guys together. Ladies and gents, we are going to go ahead and try to just squeeze the anal muscles. Relax the vaginal muscles, squeeze, take an exhale while you do it. Good, and your exhale, it's just your breath going out and sort of hitting the top of the roof or the back of the teeth. There is a purpose to this breath. It's to slow it down, and we do it through the mouth because it helps the engagement of the transversus abdominis. So it helps you to stabilize. Good, and then hold, and then exhale and work on the release too. So you don't want to just let it go. You need to slowly release. So everything in Pilates is about strength and strength in the release. So it creates long, lean, strong muscles. And this includes all of these guys. This is the base, okay? Some styles of Pilates call it the powerhouse, okay? So let's go ahead and try to squeeze and lift. And as you lift, if you notice that you're recruiting something that you don't want to, try to just let it go and keep lifting, keep it deep. Good, and then release. Good, and squeeze. Some people like to put their legs up the wall when they do this. Some people have more success with the feet not on the floor, and you can totally do that if you want to. And release. Good, just make sure you stay in a neutral pelvis. And squeeze and release, okay? So that's the first one. We're not going to do the whole thing. You guys can practice on your own. This is just how to. So if you need to take some notes, okay? So now the next one. So guys, you keep working on the anus and the rectum. Now also, something that I say to people a lot is notice your jaw, right? If your jaw is clenching, your anus is clenching. We don't want that. So, and people do it so much, I've actually named it the Janus. So it's the jaw and the anus. So relax them together, okay? Now, what we're going to do next, okay, is you're going to slowly start. So guys, you stick with the anus. Ladies, we're going to move to the vagina. So I want you to softly squeeze the surface of the vagina and lift. Now, as you do this, exhale, think about an elevator lifting up. Think about a blueberry lifting up, okay? Make sure that as you engage and lift, think about relaxing the sit bones, relax the anus, but still keep pulling up through the vaginal muscles. You should feel, or if you're up high enough, you should be able to see the belly gently just sitting down a little bit. If you have a good perception of that, okay, you should feel it. It's not pushing out. If you're pushing out for any of these, you've done it wrong. It's just wrong. Okay, because what it is you should feel like the muscles are coming in and just widening along the bowl of the pelvis. So this is where it's the art of release. It's not a huge engagement. It's not what we're used to. Okay, it's not this huge, fierceful, aggressive move. It's soft. Okay, so ladies, I also tell my ladies, okay, this often works, that it's trying to drink an extra thick milkshake through a straw using your vagina, okay? I know. Good luck. Use your breath, relax, okay? And focus on what is and isn't working. And you can take your hands to the insides of the pelvis and make sure you should feel it engaging underneath you, right? But not pushing out. It climbs up and climbs down. And again, like I said, finding somebody who's properly trained in this is worth its weight in gold, okay? So, males, okay, my guys. So women, you keep working on the vaginal muscles, okay? So squeezing up and down. My guys, so we call this a testicular lift, okay? So the imagery that we like to use, obviously, I don't know, okay? I am a female, I am not a male. I do not know what it's like to have a penis and testicles, but I have inquired with many, 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 many men and trying to work through the best way to explain it to you. So, some of the best cues are to pretend like you're walking into cold water, but sometimes that can cause an overengagement. So the water isn't that cold, okay? But it is colder, so you feel yourself lifting. That's your pelvic floor. So you're actually lifting up, and this is where it's important. Don't engage the anus. Same cues as my ladies, okay? So gents, you're gonna pull up and feel it pull up. And again, still settles in, don't push out, okay? My guys, this is gonna be tough for you because a lot of male oriented exercises are aggressive, okay? And I'm talking like classically, right? Like I know that now women are playing them too, and that's fine, right? So it's fine. But a lot of them aren't fluid, and it doesn't involve a lot of movement, right? So, and it's also like going from 0 to like 2,000 in the fastest time that you can. That's not what we're doing. So you need to release that idea that you even need to feel stuff, because if you have high pain tolerance, this goes for my ladies too, you might not actually feel this. And that's why having the tactile feedback of the hands on the belly to feel if it's working or not, okay? And if you're pulling down. And the big thing is do you feel your back? So if you have back pain already, you should not be feeling back pain when you do this. If you feel your back pain, you're doing it wrong. You're over-engaging, or you're not quite understanding, right? So try to go softer, go slowly, okay? So guys, testicular lift, right? Walking into that lake. Think about the lifting motion, and this is what massages your prostate. Super important, okay? So now for my ladies, so guys, you work on that. Ladies, we're gonna do one more, okay? My ladies, we're gonna be doing the urethra, okay? So guys are already working that because that's all sort of together. For us, we have to go up just one more, and it's super tiny, and it's just a tiny little squeeze because your bladder literally sits right on top of your pubic bone, right? So, and you're just gonna do a tiny little lift and make sure nothing else is engaging. Watch that, right? So try to lift, right? A little bit of upper vaginal muscles might kick in because it needs to, and then release. Okay, and squeeze and release. Now, if you don't get this, you can practice this when you need to go to the bathroom. Try starting and stopping your pee. Now, here's the thing though, okay? You cannot do it a lot. If you're not getting it, or once you have gotten it, stop and do it without urinating, because you're going to create a sense of urgency. So stop it. Once you've gotten it, do it. Or if you're not getting it, stop. And then try, just relax and try again, because these are super tiny. It's the most superficial muscles, okay? Because we're just going from the urethra up just above the pubic bone, and that's it, okay? So that's sort of that, okay? So we have all of our pelvic floor figured out now, see? Whew. Okay, you might want to relax and go have a glass of wine at this point. We haven't even really gotten to the exercise yet. When we work on a Kegel, okay? So that was pelvic floor. Welcome to your pelvic floors, guys. Now that we're getting to Kegel, okay, we're getting to just working. So for my guys, it is a testicular lift. For my ladies, it's the vaginal muscles. Okay, so we're leaving the other ones out. One or one's up. So there's no anus and there's no urethra for my ladies. Okay, now you might feel the urethra still kicking in because it is going to get pulled down while we do it. But the big thing is not to grip through the anus, because that's also going to squeeze and pull your sit bones together. You're going to squeeze into your sacral spine and into your tailbone, and then you're going to squeeze your SI joints. There's so much dysfunction in that part of the pelvis, and really we just need to chill out with the anus. We need to let it relax a little bit, okay? So what we're gonna do, okay, you can have your feet up. I have my feet up just because it feels more comfortable on my pelvis. So my spine isn't perfect either. My sacrum pushes out a little bit. So this is more comfortable for me. So I'm gonna do it here. You can do it here too. You can have the knees together and the feet wide. So I'm just gonna have my feet up to show you. I think it gives you a little bit of a clearer view too, maybe. So what you're gonna do is just from the vaginal muscles, or for my guys, do your testicular lift, keep the hands on the belly, okay, or be watching, and I don't want it to push up. Okay, you don't feel your back. I want you to take an inhale into the back of the rib space, and as you exhale, I want you to squeeze and feel it lifting up. Now you should feel it be able to lift up pretty far. Relax the anus muscles, relax, relax, and then take an inhale and exhale. Slowly release out. So first we're working at 100%. We're trying to work as much as we can, okay? Now, what we're gonna do after this is we're going to try to work with, where we're gonna actually work out. 100% is just to get your pelvic floor in shape. You're never gonna do any exercise that's gonna have you force and lift up into 100%, okay? Because then we're gonna layer muscles on later on, okay? Now, what I want you to do, so we're gonna try to find 30 to 40% engagement. When we get that, the muscle that comes from hip to hip, transversus abdominis, automatically fires. Yay, right? We love our TA, okay, that's the short form, TA. So TA goes across from hip to hip. And it should feel like a vacuum seal getting pulled down. Ready, guys? So we're gonna take an inhale, and you're gonna exhale. And just pull it up a little, good. And sort of stay there. Inhale if you can, tiny inhale into the back of the ribs, and exhale. And try to stay there. Inhale, exhale. Good, one more time. Inhale, exhale. Make sure you're not engaging your anus or your jaw. Ready? Inhale and exhale. And relax out. Good job. So, now that you've got that going, okay, when we bring our legs up, okay, this is one of the most weighted positions that we can do for our spines. So we do something in Pilates called Imprint, and it's so that you stay in your core, or else what happens is when you bring your legs up, you might arch your back up, and then you're using your back to hold your legs up. Not really where we're going. Our aim is eventually, maybe sometime in your lifetime, to get to a neutral pelvis, but don't let your brain take you there, okay? So you have to do what's appropriate for you, okay? Depending on your body, your spine, your hips, just your genetics. There's so many other things at play, okay? So just do what's appropriate for you. Ready, guys? So what we're gonna do, find your pubic bone and your hip bone, okay? And what we're gonna do is we're gonna take an inhale, and we're gonna exhale. And I want you to feel, see how I curled in? I want you to feel like there's suspenders coming from the ribs down to the pubic bone and from the pubic bone up to the ribs. Good. And the belly's sinking in deeper, okay? Inhale into the back of the ribs and exhale. Back to neutral. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. So you're engaging pelvic floor as you lift, pulling transversus abdominis in, and you might feel a little bit of upper abs connecting in. Okay, good. So that's Imprint. So you can imprint and then you can test it. So go ahead and imprint. And then, whether your feet are down or up, right, you can exhale. Try to bring one leg up. Take one leg down. And make sure this hasn't popped. One leg up, one leg down, up, down, up, down. And I should note that before you start moving your body, you should be exhaling first so the engagement happens. A lot of times we're halfway up and then we decide to exhale and the body's already popped out and then you can't save it, okay? So it's and now that's only if that's appropriate for you. Okay, for some of you, we aren't doing that yet together, but you want to work on your pelvic floor exercises without engaging the anus, and for my ladies, not engaging the urethra. Okay, so you want to make sure you're moving from the proper muscles. So now we've connected the bony structure to our pelvises. Another note is with the feet down, you might actually be using your glutes to engage, to go into imprint. So that's why having your feet up on something actually helps. Because you can notice, it's like, oh, you can feel your hamstrings firing, going, oh, I am using my legs instead of my core. So really it's about, and you can also let the feet rest on top of something as well. Okay, so that's the pelvis. Go over it again and pause through the exercises and work on it. Okay, guys? I'll see you in the next video. Have a great day.